Do you know your own worth? Knowing your own worth is very important, because you live according to the value you know for that value. People's lives are expressed in various ways according to their own values. Some people live as very expensive beings. Some people live moderately by following others as such beings. And some people live like cheap people, and end their lives without any conclusion, fruit, or preparation. The value you perceive for yourself is created from the identity you have. How was your identity created? Your identity was created by the religion and worldview you have. And your religion and worldview were formed by the background, experiences, and learning you grew up with. There are many types of religions and worldviews that create people's identities in the world. Among them, let's look at 3 values that people can have from 3 representative worldviews. First, the people with an identity derived from the worldview of evolution. Recognize their value as the most intelligent mammals who have evolved very well. The people who live according to that identity generally focus on eating well, dressing well, and living materially and physically abundant life for the happiness of their family. And they think that when they die, that's the end of it, but they are afraid of death. Second, the people with an identity derived from the worldviews of Buddhism, Hinduism, and New Age perceive their value as being human, animal, insect, or plant. They live with selfish motivations to obtain a better next life according to karma, striving for morality and good deeds, and focusing on accumulating merit. But they are uncertain about the future after death, so are anxious and fearful for their death. Third, people who have an identity derived from the worldview of creationism perceive their own value as unique, precious and worthy. This is because God created them as unique and one-of-a-kind beings in the world. According to their identity as created beings, they live for the purpose, needs, and goals of God who created them. And they live for the glory of God and the eternal future rather than material and physical things. And generally have confidence and peace about their death without fear. There are 3 religions that believe in creationism. They are Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Christianity, more than the other 2, especially speaks of human value as the highest, most noble, and precious thing that cannot be compared to anything else. Its contents are: God initially created humans as perfect beings in His image. But humans rebelled against God and sinned, losing God's image and becoming sinners, thus diminishing their values. Then God came to this world as a human in order to directly save humans. Although He was a sinless God, He took on all the sins of all mankind, was executed, died on the cross, and rose again 3 days later. Died on the cross, and rose again 3 days later, thereby forgiving all of humanity's sins. That is, the penalty for the sins of all people was paid with the price of God's life. This happened historically through the life of a real person, named Jesus, from the small town of Nazareth in Israel about 2,000 years ago. When humans, who were created in the image of God, sinned and lost their highest value, Jesus, the Son of God, paid the price with His life to restore them, so that they could be forgiven of their sins, thereby elevating the value of humans to the value of God's life. Therefore, true Christians who believe this fact do not live carelessly, but honor God's will and live with the life of Jesus. So they live every moment for the highest value of love, and live with the hope of returning to the eternal kingdom of God, so they have no fear of death. Which of these 3 values do you live by? I hope you live by the most precious and expensive value among these 3 values.